sabotage. You a fool, boy.
FYF Sportsman, it's Lamont. We back with another sports podcast video. Again, you guys already know it. The best sports podcast on YouTube. You know, we bring that non-biased approach. No emotions, no feelings. Again, we just try to bring you the facts. And again, today we got some more news. And again, this video is going to be a bit more insightful. It's going to help you delve into how NBA players are evaluated. And it's really hard to explain, especially when you're just talking to common, your people who just hoop, and you don't really get into the terminology or the lingo that's used at the next level or even at the college level to kind of define how NBA players are evaluated, how roles are assigned. So we're going to get into all of that today. We're going to be breaking down this interview on the No Chill podcast with Gilbert Arenas and Earl Watson. And we just going to chop it up from there. You know how we do it. We play the video, we pause it, we stop it, we chop it up, and we talk about it. But before we get started, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video if you haven't done so already. Again, we've been going live. The live streams have been great. I mean, easy over 1,000 people per stream. So again, don't miss out. Jump in the streams. I mean, the chat's been live. The panel's been live. Nothing but respectful. Great debates. People been winning cash shops on the spot, left and right. So again, don't miss the live debates. We're gonna try to go live 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every day. That's the goal. All right. So right now it's just Monday through Friday, but if we can go at that time on the weekends, we will as well. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you know exactly when we go live every single day. But again, we got this video right here. Again, it's with the No Chill podcast. It was an interview done. Now, again, you guys can go check the whole interview out. I specifically appreciated this portion of the interview because he was talking about one of the great young players in this league, Devin Booker, and how he was able to evaluate that talent and how he just, not just evaluate that talent, how he immediately recognized that this guy could be an elite high-level talent in the NBA. And he broke it down perfectly. And again, it's hard for me to just kind of explain this to people. He did a really good job of just explaining it way better than I could. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm just going to play the video, and we'll just chop it up from there. But we got Earl Watson here with Gilbert Arenas.
Start with Devin Booker. Had an opportunity to bring him along slowly because they had just paid Eric Bledsoe and Brandon Knight $140 million combined to start in the backcourt. So by me starting Devin Booker was like, whoa, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. I'm not paying him $70 million, Brandon Knight $70 million come off the bench. But I just saw in the backcourt when you have Brandon Knight and Eric Bledsoe, you had two pattern players. The game was changing, and I knew the game was changing because from my AAU teams, I seen what was coming. That's not going to be sustainable.
And I just wanted to pause it right there. This is something I try to really talk about a lot, and it's really hard to explain. So what he's basically said right there was, at the time when he was head coach of the Phoenix Suns, they had two what we call pattern players, Eric Bledsoe and Brandon Knight. Pattern players are guards who excel in a certain system. And it's hard for those guards to go outside of that system or into any other system and have immediate success. So when we talk about pattern players, and a great pattern player in this league, I would say is like a Klay Thompson, all right, a Jimmy Butler. That would be considered great pattern players in this league. No flash, no frill, but when you put them in the right system, they excel. I would say DeMar DeRozan is another guy who's a pattern player. Kyle Lowry. These are pattern guards. Again, great players, good players, but they are severely limited, especially in the playoffs. And with all of those players I just named, you guys have seen them struggle in the playoffs, but I'm going to allow him to go deeper into it to give you a better understanding of what pattern players are, what non-pattern players are, and how he was able to, identify Devin Booker as a non-pattern player very quickly.
In the playoffs, you can't have a pattern player with the ball.
Yep.
You're not going to win.
Yep.
So I looked at Devin, and I was already, before I became an interim, I was already working him out. So I knew what he was capable of doing. I was his development coach. So I was like, yo, we're going to switch it. We're going to start him, and that's going to be the role. And people thought I was crazy. Because at Kentucky, he played as a pattern player, catch and shoot. He wasn't isolated. He came off the bench. And here I am saying, as a young coach who just came from the G League, lost in the Western Conference Finals, like, what the hell are you telling us? Like, you know what I mean? But I've been teammates with these players my whole life, similar. And the first week with Book, I put him in limited patterns, a lot of creativity. And I set him in front of the whole team, in front of the whole room. I learned from UB Brown. I gave everyone their role, telling them how many shots they're going to shoot, how many minutes they're going to play, and, oh, you ain't going to play. But if he fucks up, you're going to take his spot. He has 5 games not to fuck up or secure his spot. Just be ready. You might not like it, but you respect it instead of sitting at the bench wondering, like, you know what I mean? And I looked at Book, and I was like, yeah, you're going to shoot 16 to 21, 22 times a game. And everybody was like,
see, I want to break that down to you right there. We, in some of these debates and discussions, we talk about players and how much they shoot, what they do or what they don't do on the court. Just like he said, just like what Earl Watson said, before an NBA game is actually played, everybody knows what their role is. Everybody has an idea of how many shots they're going to take. Everybody has an idea of where they can potentially take their shots. And when these things are understood, this is why it's hard for me to disrespect or get upset with certain players, especially non-star players, for not producing at an extremely high level the way we want them to as fans. All right. So when he's talking about some of these bench guys, maybe at that particular time you're talking about a TJ Warren or some of these other guys who are on the bench. These guys had designated roles. And just like he said, guys know, look, you're not going to play this game. You're not going to play unless he gets hurt or unless he comes out or unless he gets in foul trouble. Guys understand their roles. And just to kind of double back onto the Clippers, when I looked at that Clippers bench during the playoffs, just to kind of, corroborate what he's saying, it looked like I saw a lot of guys who didn't know their roles. This is why Reggie Jackson looked so disgruntled on the bench. He didn't have a clear definition of what his role would be with that team or even in that particular playoff series, and that's what that causes. It causes that internal friction with the team that just leads to confusion all over. So it sounds like he was doing a really good job of assigning roles, at least offensively, for the Phoenix Suns.
I mean, Book is like, 18 at the time? And Markieff Morris, we're going to play out of you. I know you haven't had a successful time here. It's been, you want to get out, you want to get traded. We got 2 weeks to the trade deadline. You're going to be our number 1 option. Mid-post, pick and pops, pin downs, isolations, dribble handoffs. You're going to receive him in terms of he's agile with the ball. He reminds me of Paul Millsap. So I started mimicking my time with Paul Millsap, right? And hopefully we get you traded in 2 weeks. What coach has that conversation? I want you here, but I'm also a pro and I've been here. It ain't about me, it's about you. Let's kill all the elephant in the locker room. Anyone that has a problem with Markieff getting 16 to 20 shots a game, 20 plus a game, and Book, raise your hand. Oh, you don't? Cool. PJ Tucker, you're gonna be our defender, our leader, corner threes. Every corner 3 you get, if you don't shoot, I'm subbing you out. Right? Let's hoop.
See, I really just love that. That was a really quick 3-minute breakdown of how coaches interact with players before the season even starts. And we see what PJ Tucker's role was, even on the Phoenix Suns. Defend, rebound, shoot every single open corner 3. So when PJ Tucker goes into the lab, into the gym to work on his game, he knows exactly what he needs to work on based on how the coaches assign his role. I think in the NBA, I think this is why we see so many players stuck in the same role throughout their career. This is why we see, especially if you're considered a pattern player. PJ Tucker is a pattern player. So if you're a pattern player in the NBA, it's rare that you find new ways to evolve your game. You're not going to see pattern players evolve into all-stars very much in the NBA because non-pattern players are easily identified. You see how Devin Booker was quickly identified by Earl Watson as a non-pattern player, even though when he was at Kentucky, Coach Calipari had him assigned to a pattern player's role. So again, we have to, guys like Kobe Bryant, like the Damian Lillards, even CJ McCollum. I would put Trae Young into that category, Luka Doncic. These are guys who could be considered non-pattern players. And this was talked about a lot about Luka Doncic going into that draft. There's a lot of people in Phoenix wanted to draft Luka Doncic primarily because of the fact that he was easily identified as a non-pattern player, a guy who can go get his own shot, who you can ISO, who you can put him in any offensive system and he's going to thrive. He was easily identified like that early. LaMelo Ball in this current draft is considered to be a non-pattern player. And these guys are extremely valuable at the NBA level. Now, do they always pan out? No. But the odds are in their favor because they can play any style of play that you need them to and have success. You cannot say that. Draymond Green to the world, he's a pattern player. If he's not in the right system, he's not going to have all of the success that he's having. Does that take away from your greatness? No, it does not take away from your greatness. But all it does is, at the NBA level, it helps coaches define your role. And when they have to categorize players in that particular manner, so that you can have a role and so you can have a successful team. And the teams that don't delegate roles in that particular manner, if you don't determine who are your pattern players, who are your non-pattern players early on, then it just leads to a lot of confusion later on down the line, especially if you're not breaking down who takes and makes these shots win. And the example I can always go back to are the Los Angeles Clippers and how they had that epic meltdown in the playoffs last year against the Denver Nuggets. Roles weren't assigned. Guys were kind of doing their own thing. Guys were unhappy with their minutes. You had some people in management upset that Zubac wasn't getting more minutes than Montrezl Harrell because Zubac was more effective. I mean, roles were not clearly defined with management, coaches, or players, and it just created mass confusion, which led to one of the most epic breakdowns in NBA history. So again, I appreciate this video right here. Again, here at FYF Sports, man, we like to dive deeper into it. We're not just fans, we students of the game, and I say that a lot here. We try to be students of the game. We try to dig deeper. We try to see the game within the game. And videos like this help you do that. But I want your comments on this video. I know Hitman X, I know you're going to have something on this well with your Phoenix Suns. I think Hitman X, you are onto something with Devin Booker because he's definitely a non-pattern player. All right, and that this was identified early, even though management wanted to bench him and bring him along slowly. When you had guards making 30, 40, 50 million ahead of him, Earl Watson wanted to start him. And because he went against the grain and started him, it actually probably cost him his job. But even when new coaches came in, they also saw the same thing because look at Devin Booker now. He's the starting guard of the Phoenix Suns. He's the MVP of the bubble, and he looks like he's gonna have one of the best seasons of his career going in the next season. But it's FYF Sports, man. Again, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't done so already. All right, we on the grind. We grinding. Next grind is to 15K, 20K. Hopefully by the year we can find ourselves at 100K. The only way we can keep growing is if you guys stay actively engaged with our content. You start jumping in these live streams, make these debates more epic. Again, we've had a lot of great winners. And currently right now, CJ is the debate champ. CJ took the debate crown from True the King. All right, maybe True the King can regain that, but as it stands right now, we need somebody to come take that crown from CJ on to the next debate topic here at FYF Sports. We're going live 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you hit that notification bell to stay tuned in. Hey, but it's FYF Sports, man. Another great podcast video, and we out.